I'm a Michigan constitutional crusader, rising up when the world goes cold. No badge can bring me, no chains can take me. Truth in my veins, a fire and bold. To fire and bold.
Oh, look at this machine back here. They got an airboat body, but no boat. They got the frame and motor and fan, but no boat. Look at that. That's a beast. With a rotating turret on it and everything. Look at that monster. Jeez. I don't think I've ever seen another county that's got one of these things. And then here's part of an airboat. I know, right? That's a straight up military vehicle. I've never seen another county with one.
That's crazy.
It's an insane vehicle.
Straight up an assault vehicle there.
Yeah.
Wow. Probably hasn't been moved in a Coons age.
That is a military troop transport, armored troop transport.
Yeah. Crazy.
Huh. Oh, there's some sheriffs.
Mm-hmm. Hi. This is Sheriff's Department?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
I saw all the cars over here. That's why I figured I'd walk over here.
Right. Well, that one almost didn't want to start.
Yeah, right?
Cool. Didn't think it was going to start for a minute.
No, that's fine. Y'all good, I know.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You happen to know the last time that troop transport was moved?
That'd be a question for a sheriff. It's been a while.
Right?
Yeah. I know he's got chargers on him and stuff. And,
Oh, okay.
That's a hell of a beast. I've never seen a sheriff's office with one of those before.
they use it in parades.
Oh, okay.
And whenever we had that huge flood,
Mm-hmm.
we used it a few times to...
Oh, so it floats?
Oh, okay.
Does it float?
Supposed to.
Supposed to? Okay.
Don't want to.
I kind of thought it was an amphibious.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. But,
Oh, okay.
Again, how old it is, I wouldn't trust it.
Probably bad seals. It probably leak a lot.
That's pretty cool.
It'd be good for forwarding heavy water and stuff, but
Right.
as far as to get out and just float around on
Like in 10, 15 foot deep water, you wouldn't want to push that.
yeah. Now, if you're just going through, back out, it'd probably be good.
Cool. Heck
Huh.
yeah. That thing's pretty awesome.
I'd love to have one of those just
I know,
for fun.
Right? Just for the fun of it.
We use it for, like I said, parades. We'll let school kids come climb through it, look at it.
Cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Turn the lights on.
Nice.
We'll take it out to preschools.
Oh, okay.
You know, more of a public relations.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And we can use it if need be for
Departments need more
departments,
public relations.
Yes, sir.
Is that the public entrance to the...
Here it is.
Okay.
Push the green button, then they'll buzz you in.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, thank you, sir.
Hey, it's the court annex building. Is it open to the public?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Great day.
You too. Cool.
Oh, it needs brakes too.
Yep. Man, you need a new car, bro. That's hilarious. Cool. Crawford, is this like the jail? Is this the jail?
I would assume.
Oh, I don't know.
Got bars on the windows.
Well, I don't necessarily
There we
mean anything.
They are 15.
Yes, sir.
Change. Thank you. Are you sure? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, correction.
I have enough copies. Did you have more copies?
Yeah.
Didn't need a calendar.
Okay. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
What's that?
26. Calendar for your
Oh.
car.
Cool.
I need more of those for my truck. Heck yeah. Free. I like free stuff.
Right?
Thank you.
Free stuff's always good.
I like free stuff.
Thank
Got bumper
you.
stickers too.
Holidays.
Happy holidays.
I love here.
Cool. How you doing, man?
Good, how are you, sir?
All right, my man. Ain't working too hard today, are you?
We're keeping us busy.
Oh, no.
Have a good day.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, how you doing?
How you? Good.
I'm supper.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Yeah, I was to see what you need. I need
Yeah.
your shit, right?
Yeah, I'm Mick. I'm a retired guy from up in Tazewell County. And
Caswell, that's up there pure, isn't it?
working my retirement gig. And I was wondering if I could talk to Detective Officer, anybody who's available. Even though I'm here at home shop.
Yeah. Give me a second, I'll see if somebody's
All
gonna
right,
fucking
thanks.
go.
Where's the Monopoly sticker on the wall? Go to jail, straight to jail, not fast go. I love it.
Are you guys cars? Nice. What, you got a car with like a YouTube channel?
I don't know. We used to have cars, but I don't anymore. I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah. Frickin' media.
Is that the name of it? Frickin' Me? Okay, perfect.
Frickin' media. F-R-I-C-N.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
the super short version.
Well, no, it stands for Framers Rights Independent Citizen News.
Oh.
And it sounds cool.
Yeah, okay, so it's an acronym.
It's an acronym, yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah, mine is Michigan Constitutional Crusader.
gotcha.
Just give a second so we can shortly talk.
Yeah, sure, thank you. Yep.
Yeah, these guys here, man. Every time we come here, these guys are great. Super
Yeah.
nice police here. We love to see that. It's not that way everywhere.
The smaller the jurisdiction, usually the more in
It's-
touch with the people.
It's
It depends.
yeah, it does depend.
Some of these smaller jurisdictions, they're that much more tyrannical
like Mount Carmel
because there's no
Mount
oversight.
Carmel. Wabash
Yeah.
County's okay, but Mount Carmel police, they're bad. They're
Oh,
super
wow.
bad.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they
Yeah, we're-
arrested us just
we're-
for recording on the sidewalk and charged us with
Felony disorderly conduct.
Because the bank
Complaint?
called 911 on us and said that we were recording their bank. And we've been fighting those charges for over a
It's
year
called,
now.
called public.
Huh?
It's called public.
It's called public.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's called public. Whatever I can see from the sidewalk, I can record, including your vault.
Same as the police.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Same rules apply to everybody.
Yeah.
But we got their body cams, so now we got full view inside the bank too.
Yeah, yeah. Sure did. Didn't even have to go in. We
Kind of
just,
backfired on them.
it kind of did, yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit.
The sergeant that arrested us, he was the patrol supervisor, day shift patrol supervisor, and now he's the school resource officer. Doesn't sound like much of a promotion to me.
Yeah.
I think they wanted him off the street, is what I think.
Yeah.
He was a bad cop.
Good morning, or good afternoon.
How are you? Great.
Seward.
Bill Rutan.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Good to meet you.
Huh? Sheriff?
No, I'm sure.
Sheriff, nice to meet you. Good to meet you, Sheriff.
Yeah. So I'm a retired guy from and I'm working on all kind of my company does biohazard remediation. So when a
Okay.
family has a
Yeah.
messy death, we go in and clean it for them.
Yeah.
We do a couple things different than the
Mhm.
industry. One is we don't charge the family up front. We give them a form to sign, and then we open a claim on their homeowner's insurance. So
Oh, wow.
they never see a bill. We
Yeah.
send all the bills right to the insurance.
Right.
Just kind of feels unethical to sit there and stick your
It
hand
is,
out when
yeah.
somebody's suffering with a
Right.
death like that.
Yeah.
So that's one big thing we do different. As far as like cleaning companies go,
Mhm.
we're the same as all the big ones. We have
Yeah.
our cleaners are all certified through 2 different accreditation agencies.
Sweet.
We use all the industry standard protocols
Mhm.
and chemicals. We use an incinerator. We do tracking on the stuff that we incinerate so that if you need chain of custody, we can get that to you.
Yeah, excellent.
That way, everything's documented and taken care of.
Yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds of pictures.
Right.
Number one, because it makes insurance easier to pay your claims.
Yes.
Because they can actually see what we did.
Yeah.
Number 2 is liability. You know,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
got that covered. But after we're done with the cleaning, we also do something unique. Is our founder didn't know anything about cleaning.
Mhm.
He got into this because he got mad at another cleaning company who did a good job, but
Right.
they didn't treat the family very well.
Yes.
And he was
Yeah,
like,
I've seen
there's
that a lot.
there's a better way. And
Yeah.
he figured out the insurance thing, so
Mhm.
we weren't asking for money up front. And he also, when he started this, he did the cleaning himself for a year. And 'cause
Oh,
he
wow.
wanted to know it from the ground up.
Yeah.
And he got Biohazard certified, and he called the accreditation agency to train him, and he's like, how do I know it's clean? And You know,
Yeah.
it's microscopic. You taught me it's microscopic. I want to know that it's actually clean.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, if you use the right chemicals and you follow the protocols, you're safe. And he's like, no, I want to know.
I want to see.
Yeah, he went to the hospital and in Denver, and he said, when you guys have a bad ER or OR situation where there's a lot of blood, you clean it up. How do you know it's clean for the next patient?
Yeah.
And they said, oh, we got these ATP testers. They're like double the size of a PBT.
Yeah.
And instead of putting a pipette, and instead of having a hydrogen cell inside, they use a Q-tip and they swab down all the surfaces and they stick it in a hole in the top of the machine. And it actually has the blinker off of fireflies are made into a
Yeah.
paste. And that's inside in place of the hydrogen cell. And if there's contamination, the blinker lights up. So
Oh, wow.
they can measure the light strength.
Yeah.
So if we get to a really bad contaminated scene,
Right.
it'll be 5,000 light units.
Oh,
And
wow.
then once we clean, our standard is to be at 15 or below, which is
Right.
what the hospital gets to.
Yeah.
So when we clean, we test, and if we don't get the test we want, we clean again.
Clean again, yeah.
So
That's
when we get
awesome.
done, we hand the family a guarantee that says, hey, this house is clean, you will never have a stain, you will never have a smell, you will never have an infection
Right.
from that event. You know, if you have another event, we gotta clean again.
Right.
But that protects the family both from the biohazard, but it
Mhm.
also gives them their equity back in the home.
Right.
Because, you know, when somebody dies,
Yeah,
everybody in
it
town
can
is
be
like,
nasty.
that house where it's, you know, happy,
Yeah.
don't wanna buy
Yeah,
that.
don't want to be in that one.
This way they've got a certificate, it's a
Right.
warranty is transferable to the new owners.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's excellent.
they can guarantee they have a clean place.
Right. Right.
So that's our big claim to fame, for
Yeah.
those two things, plus the cleaning.
Yeah.
We are, all of the guys out in Denver, the people that own it and started it, are all military guys.
Mm-hmm.
And they hired all retired law enforcement for the military guys. Because
Yes.
integrity was number
Oh,
one
yeah.
for them. Because
Yeah.
you're in somebody's house and you're also doing a service that has to be done right.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
all of our people are background checked. They're all
Sure
trained.
is.
You know, it's a very good company. When they hired me, I was like, well,
Mhm.
let me check into you. And I did
Yeah.
some checking. And all the people that used us, glowing reviews.
Mhm.
The only two bad reviews I could find were cleaners. And they were
Right.
like, this is a gross job. And I'm like, what did you think you were signing up for?
No kidding.
It's like,
No kidding.
yeah, it's a gross job.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, there were no bad reviews, so I was really
Yeah.
impressed.
Oh,
so I was
excellent.
happy.
Yeah.
Happy to take the job and come around
Yeah.
and meet guys and
Oh,
talk
yeah.
to you.
We've not really had much use for it until this last summer.
Oh, really?
And one of my guys had a fentanyl exposure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's bad.
And and it was 2 days after he had last worked. So we're thinking it was on his equipment.
Oh, did he pass away?
No,
He just got sick.
he got sick real bad.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we were able to get him, he got treated and they transferred him to another hospital, got him all healed up and,
Yeah.
got him flushed out, everything's fine.
Back to work?
Back to work.
Okay, good.
And we had to have a cleaning company come in and clean the car and all of his gear and everything. Cause we're like,
Yeah.
we can't have that,
Yeah.
him
I
get
just had that in
crazy.
Champaign, Illinois. We just had a case
Yeah.
up there.
Oh,
So,
goodness.
and our
Yeah.
company doesn't do. Our company just does biohazard.
Gotcha.
But I got a guy.
Well,
I know.
I just been to one of my conferences.
Yeah.
And I said, wait a second. So I went through my bag of stuff, and said, there it is.
Yeah.
So I called them and I think it was Bloomington is where they were out of.
Do you have to Peoria to the Sheriff's Associate? Yeah. So Jeff Flowers, my
Okay.
sheriff, he's a
Yes.
wonderful guy.
Oh, he's a
Worked for
great
him.
guy.
He and I got hired within like a month of each other.
Oh, wow.
And I wound up switching over to probation. He stayed at the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
Just worked his way up through the ranks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah,
He
great guy.
In retirement, he takes care of me. So
Yeah, yeah.
he's an awesome guy.
Good
so.
deal. Good
Yeah.
deal.
So let me
Well,
give you some stuff.
You know what I'm saying? I got a couple of your cards, but
Here's some brochures, and I'm going to
Yes.
give you a big stack because I called Earl, and he's not available.
Right.
So I told him, hey, I'm going to drop some off at
Yeah.
the sheriff's office.
Yeah, and I'll see Earl tonight. We got a board meeting
Oh,
tonight,
yeah.
so
Oh, good.
yeah, we all gotta be there for that.
So December, is this the budget meeting?
No, the budget's all that stuff was
Pretty much done.
It's all done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good deal. Yeah, all the budget and everything's done. So it's just it actually took effective December 1st. So
Oh, your fiscal
Yeah.
year is December.
yeah, December 1's our fiscal year. So we're at the point now that it's just a few things they need to kind of tweak and put into place, and hopefully it'll be a short meeting.
Yeah.
So
hopefully.
there's a quarterly firemen's meeting this evening, an hour after the board meeting, and I really need to talk to all the fire chiefs,
Yeah.
and they will all be there. So
Hey,
Get on the same
perfect time,
page.
Yeah,
perfect time to
absolutely.
get there. Yeah.
Well, awesome.
Yeah.
It was great
All right.
meeting you.
Great to
You have
meet
a
you.
business card by chance?
Yes. Let me.
Is this one? Is
Right
this,
there?
No, that's
That's
a
just a
visitation
dinner.
card.
Oh, gotcha.
Let me run in and grab one.
Okay.
My newest ones are inside the secretary's office. I don't think
Thank
one-
you. Awesome.
That was fascinating to listen to that.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a good company. They really concentrate on helping the family.
How far do you guys travel?
I have the whole state of Illinois.
The whole state of Illinois?
So,
Okay.
Yeah, I go all the way from
Just Illinois, you don't go out of
Rockford
the
down to
state?
Cairo.
Oh,
No,
okay.
not really. We do conferences, like national conferences. They might ask me to go do one of those. But
Oh, okay.
the last national conference was in Chicago, so I didn't have to go.
That's great. Everything you said makes sense, really.
Yeah, the guy that started this
And I'm sure
really
there's-
figured it out.
Yeah, I'm
You
sure
know,
there's companies out there that are a lot less
Thank
thorough.
you. I appreciate it. Hope you have a happy
Devil?
holiday.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
I better look, make sure, yep, they're mine. Look and make sure.
Let me see that.
Have a happy holiday. And,
Yes, you as well.
I hope to see you up in East Peoria.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a booth up
Cool.
there for the next one. And
Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
I'll be up there, of course, Super Bowl Sunday's the next conference. They always do it always do a Super Bowl Sunday. I don't know why,
I don't either.
but anyway,
Interesting.
it is.
So I'll have to look at that because I think the Corners Conference is at the same time, but they always have to go to the Corners Conference.
Right.
So,
Right, yeah,
I'll
just
have
reach out to Terry or Lynn over there at the Sheriff
Yeah.
Association.
Yeah.
They'll tell you when it is and when a good point to, good
Yeah.
time to be there. Of course, the one in September, that's the one where they have a big vendor hall. They've got a real big vendor
You
hall.
see that ring of
And
huge
they make
keys over there?
people-
The old
they
door
make-
lock keys?
They make people go around every.
You know, like a card sign?
Got a card sign.
Skeleton
Gotta have a card
keys.
sign, so everybody goes around to all the booths.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that way they definitely have to see.
I like giving away stuff, so I'll have lots of giveaways there.
Hey, good
I'll have
deal.
my paperwork, but
Yeah.
I like fun stuff. I think my next giveaway is going to be I'm going to order several hundred little individual cereal boxes and some
Yeah.
steak knives, and that's a cereal giveaway.
Perfect.
It's good talking to you.
It's good
Have
to
a
see
happy
you.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
You guys have a good one.
You too.
You have a good holiday.
Yeah, remember hit the green button on the wall and unlock the door.
Gotcha.
We electronically sealed everything
Yeah, all
several
that.
years ago.
Okay.
So,
How big's your jail?
we can hold up to 53.
Up to 53?
I really hope we don't ever get that high, but
Oh,
we've been
that-
close a couple
That's how
times.
Livingston County used to be back
Oh,
in the
okay.
80s.
Oh, okay.
Now they got like 300 beds, I think, or something.
You should
Yeah.
not like some of the counties that have to house their inmates in another county.
Right.
And it costs them even more money.
Right, and we were one of those counties that people came to.
Oh, really?
Because our average daily count used to be, when I first started, it was 3.
Wow.
Wow.
This jail was built in '87
Okay.
to hold 24.
Okay.
Because the state standard says when you hit 25, you have to have a jail administrator.
Ah,
So they kept it under 25, so they didn't have to have a jail administrator.
right.
Okay.
Payroll down.
You keep payroll down. But then, it was probably late 90s. We got to the point where we were keeping up about 19,
Okay.
18, 19 people, so we were getting pretty full.
Okay.
Right.
So they decided to go through and double bunk everything. So that,
Double.
so it almost doubled.
Almost
They kept a
doubled.
couple of the cells where they didn't double bunk.
Gotcha.
That way, if there was somebody they had to keep away from everyone
Isolated,
else.
right. Yeah,
I
makes
don't
sense.
call it isolation or quarantine, or it's just, some people just don't get along with anybody else.
It's
So
true.
we just have to keep a cell that was just a single bunk
Gotcha.
for them.
Makes
So,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
I said they double bunked it and got we can hold 53, but that's putting about 8 people on the floor.
Oh, okay.
That's
It's a little much. Yeah, the
That's
floor's
way
never
too
fun.
No. Now, granted, they've got mats they can sleep on,
Right.
but yeah, I said about About 45 is about all the more we want to get in.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, we know about that sleeping on the floor stuff.
Yeah.
When they put us in the Detroit Detention Center
Yeah.
for 18 damn hours. Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
That does not sound like a good
No, it was a prison.
Yeah.
It's
And they put us
by
in
the Department of
prison.
Corrections, not
Yeah.
by a sheriff's department or anything
Yeah.
like
Now
that.
we're governed. We're I say governed. The Illinois Department of Corrections sets the standards
Okay.
for the county jails.
Oh, okay.
So they come in yearly and do an inspection.
Oh,
Make
wow.
sure
Didn't know
we're
that.
following rules. And-
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Heck yeah.
So we usually do our inspection usually sometime in February.
Oh, okay. So we got one coming up then.
We should be having one coming up. So
Cool.
yeah,
We met some of your deputies, man. Every deputy we've met's been great.
yeah,
Including the one that pulled us over about a year ago.
There we go.
Yeah, it was about a year ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I
because
tell-
we were rolling around the refinery
Oh yeah.
in the car, and
Yeah.
Some guy
some
started
dude started
chasing
chasing us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then
In
the
truck.
sheriff
Just
come and
chasing
pulled
us,
us over.
chasing us.
Yeah.
And we started giving him shit right off the bat, and he didn't give a damn what we were saying.
super
He was cool
We had a
as
great
hell.
conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was super
Yeah,
nice.
and of course,
Can't remember his
you know,
name.
the refinery they're sensitive anyway, just
Yeah.
because of terroristic threats and
Yep.
things of that sort. So,
Yeah, we just poked at him a
That's
few
why we
minutes
go.
ago.
That's why we go there to record.
oh yeah,
Just to so they know. Just because somebody's recording doesn't mean they're terrorists.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't mean they mean you harm.
oh yeah.
And you need to respect the right of the people.
We had the
to record
security
on.
following us around.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, we just had Robinson Police go by us out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. He rolled by and he was like, hey, and we just kept rolling.
Freedom of speech.
Why
Exactly.
don't we do it as a test, man?
Yeah.
You know, if I flip you off and it makes you mad, probably shouldn't be a cop. You know, but if
Yeah.
you take it with a grain of salt, let it roll off your back, and you laugh about it or whatever, it lets us know that, you know,
I'll tell you what.
you're a decent cop.
Years ago, I had a complaint between two women, and they got mad at each other. And one person called the other one a bitch.
Uh-huh.
You know, from the street.
Right.
That offended me. I want to sign charges.
That's what happened to us in Oklahoma.
Right. So I'm like, okay. So I let her sign a local ordinance citation. Gave it to the other one. Then the husband of that one got pissed off and went over to the other person's house and started in the middle of the street yelling and cussing at him.
Well, that should be disorderly.
Okay.
Maybe,
So-
depending on how loud they got.
Well,
And if there was fighting words
Yeah, if
involved.
there's fighting.
yeah,
words
there were
involved.
fight words. There was just yelling and
Right.
just being annoying.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So then I look at him and I says, would you quit? Well, she's on charge against my wife for saying things. And I said, would you just grow up? Oh, that was the wrong thing to say.
Oops.
I'm really glad I had another officer with me. I said, it just came out of my mouth. I slipped, just slipped. And of course, the other officer looked at me and he's like, you shouldn't have done that. I said, I know that now. It slipped. I'm sorry. So we get into court. So we get into court, right, over this ticket. And I have to testify. And the judge is listening to both testimonies. And he says, I'm going to dismiss this ticket. You two just need to grow up.
Oh my God, that's
I didn't
great.
think I did. I didn't get in trouble. I didn't start a fight. I did.
Yeah, that's why we're down there, because we have to go to Mount Carmel, because last year we were walking around the public sidewalks,
Yeah.
and it's like 3 places called on us. Didn't report that we were being threatening or harming, or didn't threaten harm, didn't damage
Yeah.
any property, just that we were recording on a sidewalk.
Right.
And they thought the police should know.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Right.
And then one cop pulls up and gets out, and there's a lady with him, I guess, that owns the salon or whatever, and they kept saying "excuse me" to us.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, why, did you fart? And they wouldn't answer me, so I was like, no, and I turned around and we walked away.
Yeah.
And as we're walking away, the officer kind of under his breath was like, you're not free to leave, I need to see your ID or something like that. We just laughed at him.
Yeah.
You know, you got no eyes right now, you
Right.
can't demand anything from us. So we just kept walking. And then a sergeant, I guess, come out of the police department and was walking down the sidewalk towards the main street. And he was like, hey guys, and he waved at him and I flipped him off. And we just kept walking. And he gets on the radio and he's like, well, they're not talking to us right now, so we're just gonna monitor them, and if we get a real complaint, we'll take it.
Right.
Okay, so we cross the street and we're standing in front of the bank, and he's standing in front of the bank. I'm on the side, and the lady comes out of the bank. He's trying to engage with him, and he's not talking to her.
Didn't say
And
a
I come
word.
around the corner, and I don't say a word to him. And he says to me when the manager come out, he goes, "Oh, now I can see the vault."
Because they had both doors
They had
open
both doors
wide.
open, so you had a straight line of sight in. And he has a thing for vaults. He loves vaults.
Yeah.
And,
The old vaults with all the brass fittings on them, and
Yeah.
shit, they're gorgeous.
Yes.
Right? So they keep on asking us questions, and we don't answer them, and then they're like, "Well, we're going to call the police because you won't answer our questions." And I'm like, "Well, they're right over there."
Yeah.
They were over across the street on the sidewalk. People.
Yeah.
And he says, "If you want to waste tax dollars," and the lady says, "We're not wasting tax dollars. We're protecting our building." I'm like, "No, you're protecting your feelings. Is what you're doing."
Right.
And that pissed her off.
Yeah.
And then she kept on and said, "People like you." And I'm like, and he's like, "What do you mean, people like you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what do you mean by that?" And she kept on and kept on. And she wouldn't let us talk. And she's like, "You can't be on the sidewalk recording our bank." Blah. I'm like, "Lady, I'm in public. I can record whatever I can see, whatever
Yeah.
I want to."
Yeah.
And she just kept on and talking over me. And I finally said to her, I'm like, "Are you a simple bitch?" And it took 3 or 4 seconds for it to click in her head what I
And
said.
then she stopped mid-word.
She stopped mid-sentence. She's like, "Don't you talk to me like that," or something like that. And I'm like, "Well, are you a simple bitch?" And she wouldn't answer me. And she kept on and kept on and kept. I'm like, "Yeah, you're a simple bitch."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? and then the sergeant, I guess they're calling 911, and the manager called 911 and said, "Oh, they're being nasty." Well, we didn't say anything nasty to you. You were already inside. You didn't hear me ask her that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what? We didn't even say anything to you. You accused us of being belligerent before we even spoke to you.
Right.
And then she called. She's like, "Oh, they're being nasty." And they made a comment about the vault. And dispatch was like, "Well, what did they say?" She's like, "Oh, I got a good picture of the vault now." And that's not even what he said.
Yeah.
So dispatch radios the sergeant. The sergeant, up to this point, and he's even telling citizens, according to his body-worn camera footage, they're not doing anything wrong. They're not breaking the law. There's nothing
Right.
we can do.
Right.
So at that point, he had no probable cause of anything.
Yeah.
Dispatch comes over the radio, bank called, said they're being vulgar, and said they got a good picture of the vault. Well, the sergeant gets right on the radio. He says, "I need all units to respond, non-lights, no sirens. We're putting a stop to this."
Right.
So he made his mind up right then and there to arrest us.
Oh yeah.
And because as they were walking across the street, he got back on the radio and he told them, "Me and Officer Walker are on foot, so if they try to run, I'm not running anywhere. I can't run." You know what I'm saying? So, but whatever. And he walks up and he tells the lady that was still
Go inside and lock the door.
outside.
Right.
She was still outside engaging with us.
Uh-huh.
"Go inside and lock the bank down. Go inside and lock the bank down." I'm like, "The dipshit sergeant said lock the bank down. Good job."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Let's step away from the bank." I'm like, "Shut up. You don't get to tell me where to stand."
Right.
Shut up, dude. And he's like, "Well, what's going to happen now?" I'm like, "Well, what's going to happen? I'm going to keep walking up and down the sidewalk as a free man, and you're going to leave me the fuck alone."
Yeah.
And he says, "Right now, you're detained. Take your hand out of your pocket." And I said, "Fuck you." But I was like, "I'll go ahead and take my hand out." So I pulled my hand out, and as soon as I did, he grabs me,
Yeah.
cuffs me up.
Right.
He's like, "I was wondering about a weapon in your pocket." I'm like, "You have no reasonable suspicion to think I'm armed.
Yeah.
You didn't see any protrusions to make you think I had a gun. Your officer that engaged with us earlier didn't give you any inclination that I was armed. So it was an unlawful Terry stop."
Right.
And then he goes inside to the bank and he asks the bank ladies, "Were you alarmed and disturbed?" They're like, "Well, of course, yes." He goes, "That's it. We're taking him to jail." Come out and said, told him, he goes, "You're under arrest." And he's like, "For what?" And he's like, "Disorderly, no, a breach or something." He couldn't make up his mind. And then he turned to me and he says, "You're under the arrest." I'm like, "What?"
Under the rest.
Under
Yeah.
the arrest. I'm like, "What? Are you kidding?" I mean, I'm sure I wasn't super nice to you, but, and then they charge us with felony disorderly conduct because the bank called 911
Oh wow.
and made a false report.
And 2
Yeah.
counts of misdemeanor disorderly conduct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Making a false report and breach of
Wow.
peace.
So
You made a
other
comment
people's
you made a comment about safes. I got a picture of a safe. I'm trying to find. it.
other
Oh,
people's
cool.
ignorance is our problem in
Right.
Wabash County.
Oh yeah.
They're charging us with other people's
September
ignorance.
of last year.
Yeah.
We each went through
And-
3 attorneys.
and
I went through 2.
Because of this, I got all their body cam footage, the police report, and everything for free.
Yeah.
Like, well, how many was it? Like, how many pages of FOIA was it? Like 1,000?
Yeah, 1,500.
1,500 pages of FOIA.
Oh wow. Yeah.
All the body camera footage, all of the 911
Oh, yeah.
calls,
You
all
like
of the
that?
dispatch.
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of safes like
Yeah,
that.
that's that freestanding safe, isn't
Yep.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just seen one in Moments.
Yeah,
At the City
Moments
Hall
has one at City Hall.
yesterday.
That.
That was the treasurer's.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Here in this
safe
county?
Here in this county.
Awesome.
Yeah, back in, I don't know, whenever it was. I mean, they've got the walk-in safes with the treasurer's office marked on them and stuff like that, but, you know, which they don't even use anymore. Because
Right.
it's not, the treasurer's office isn't even over there anymore.
Right.
But, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he loves vaults. He really
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
He gets
Well,
the
it was a
kids.
pleasure talking
Yeah,
to
it was
you.
awesome.
Hey, did you guys see my LED out back?
Yes, we did.
Now,
that
the
thing is
reason-
awesome.
It is. The reason I got it, I reached out to the LESO, the military surplus people, and I said, I need something amphibious. I said, I've got to have something that can go through at least 4 foot of water
Right.
because I've got 2 rivers.
Mm.
I've got the Wabash that runs at my east side of my county, and then I've got the Amberall on the southwest corner. I said, we're always
Right. Dealing with
getting
flooding.
Flooded.
with floods and trying to get people out of cars. And they're like, really? And I said, yeah. And, well, we'll keep our eyes open. It wasn't a week later, hey, you're not going to believe what we got.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, awesome. And then top it off, it's armored. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
Yeah, that thing's badass.
I am 3 hours away. If we have an active shooter, I am 3 hours away of having an armored vehicle here.
Right.
Not now.
Right.
Keep it plugged in so that we start it up about once a month.
Right.
And run around the block. And
Oh
people
yeah.
get
Yeah, your
kicked out of
nephew
it.
was telling us you use it in parades
Yeah.
for public relations
Yeah.
and daycare or
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
such a truck program for the kids.
Right.
I love
We
it.
were both like, why in the hell would they need something like that? But now that you say
It's
the
in-
rivers
yeah.
and the floods,
It's
I
in-
totally get
yeah.
it.
It's
Yeah.
amphibious.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I just wanted a truck with 4 foot tires on it. You know, they came up with this. I said, I'll take it.
Yeah.
All
How much
right.
is that?
Nothing.
Really?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
military gives the surplus vehicles to the
Oh,
sheriff's
that's
departments
awesome.
Yeah.
and police
Yeah.
departments for
The only
free.
thing,
Oh,
the only
okay.
thing I had to pay for shit or for transport,
Oh, okay.
and it was up by Peoria.
Oh, that's
it was
not
at
too
one of the
far
other
at all.
police departments up there.
Okay.
And so our highway department,
Went and got it.
they had to drop a semi off at a mechanic shop on the way there.
Oh well, shoot, it worked
So
out.
they
Perfect.
dropped the truck off there, and we just went on up to Bartonville, is where it was at.
Oh, okay.
Just South Peoria, and picked it up there, and then
That's
pulled
awesome.
it back. And man, I'll tell you, it's been a blast. So many people just have they love it when we get it out.
Now, is that a machine operated turret on the top?
It's hand operated.
Oh, it's crank operated?
It's crank.
Okay.
Yeah,
That is awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
Seems
That's
like
cool.
a good county.
Yeah.
Here, good
I'd
department.
try to be.
Yeah.
Try to be.
Constitutional.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Wish
Yeah.
they were all that way.
Yeah, I wish they were all that way.
I took an oath.
Absolutely.
They all took oaths, but
They
that
all-
doesn't mean they follow them.
Honor or not, it's a different
Well, I'll tell
story.
you what, and of course the Second Amendment is one of my big ones. You know, and somebody hit me up and they said, I've been a firearms instructor since 1999. I
Oh,
was a
okay.
firearms instructor when I worked for the city.
Oh, okay.
And when the concealed carry law came out, they said, Bill,
Which is
had a couple-
bullshit.
Which is bullshit.
Yeah.
So they come up to me and a couple of the other guys who were firearms instructors says, hey Bill, why don't you go to this class with us and we'll start teaching these people? I said, nope, I don't agree with it.
Right.
You don't agree with people having concealed carry? I says, nope, I don't think they need to pay for it.
That's right.
If they,
And I don't think-
if
I
they
don't
have
think-
the ability
yeah.
to own a firearm, as long as they're not a convicted felon, they should have firearms.
Right.
I mean, even if they're a convicted felon, they should be able to.
Depending on the felon.
Yes, I
I
agree
mean,
with
if they're a
that.
I'm saying, like,
murderer,
you know,
something of that sort.
yeah,
you know,
I agree
no.
with that. If,
You
if
know,
you was
Even
convicted
if
of like property
even if
crimes,
it's, you know,
Oh,
like,
yeah, well, one of my brother-in-laws was convicted of vehicular manslaughter. He was actually
had nothing to do with a firearm.
nothing to do with firearms.
Right.
He was drunk leaving a party. The guy that was with him, he was driving his car because he was drunker than he was.
right.
And they ended up wrecking the car and the guy died.
Hmm.
So, and they changed the point card laws back in the day that depending on your felony, as long as it's not a forcible felony, then you can get your point card back. And by God, he did.
Yeah. You have to go to the state police to get it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can, they got an application, like.
Yeah, I mean, you had to go through the
Illinois
process.
has a thing that, after 20 years, if
Yeah.
you've been off paper for 20 years, you can apply through the state police to get your FOID card back.
Yeah.
And then, or you can go,
Yeah.
you can go through your sentencing county and try to get an expungement
Yes.
to get your rights restored.
Oh, yeah.
The Second
I was
Amendment
convicted
says,
in Illinois in 95.
Gotcha.
So-
My so when the governor came out here, what, 3-4 years ago, saying that, you know, if anybody has this and we're going to force these arrests and things, and I was the first sheriff to stand up and go on the TV and say, I am not enforcing those
Good for you.
laws
Good for you.
because they're unconstitutional.
right.
That's what we want. That's
And
what
then
we
when
like
we're
to see.
in communities this size, I mean, I've increased my patrol. When I first took over as sheriff 11 years ago, I had 6 guys on patrol. Now I have 11.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, and with this, the help of the county board, they approved it and let me do it at the time, you know,
Right.
and I got my numbers up because our call volume has increased so much in the last 11 years.
Everybody calls the police for anything
for
now.
everything.
They do.
You know, when I first took over, we had on an average, or to say took over, when I first got into law enforcement, we'd have 60 calls for service a month. You
And now
know,
you're probably
that
triple
we
that.
got,
Now it's probably
we got
600.
We got 60 calls for service every week
Right.
Right.
now.
Right.
So I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah.
But so I've increased but our community is still, my agency is still so small that I have to rely on the public to help us.
Absolutely.
Right.
To solve the crimes and to keep the bad people out.
Right. Defend yourselves and your community.
You know,
Absolutely.
and I can't take their guns away from them.
Right.
I need them to have them.
Right. Absolutely.
I had one guy, and
Does
just
the gun
recently-
concealed carry law say that it has to be mostly concealed?
It does.
He does. It
So
does.
what does that mean, technically? Mostly
As long
concealed.
as most of it is concealed. You
Right.
know?
So technically, that holster mostly conceals your
It
firearms.
does.
It does. It really does.
the handles, I mean,
Yeah, the handles.
Exactly.
yeah, it's less
Makes
than
sense.
50%.
Makes
So
sense.
technically, their concealed carry law is just bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was
Because
it? What
as
was
long as the gun's in a holster, it's
What was it,
mostly
Evanston,
concealed.
Illinois? Evanston, Illinois? What's
Yeah,
that?
Evanston, Illinois.
Yeah.
We have pepper spray
Right.
guns
Yeah.
that sit in a holster.
Yeah.
If you look at, you can tell it's not fire.
It's not a firearm. Yeah.
They pulled their pistols out on him.
Pointed it at me from this distance
Yeah.
at my chest.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Over carrying, open.
And I'm
carry.
telling him, it's pepper spray, dumbass.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pulled their guns out, cuffed him, stuffed him, took him to
Yeah.
jail. Yeah. Over pepper
Here
spray.
about 3 weeks ago, I was working late. I come in I'm ready for work about 7 a.m. and I don't go home until usually 7 p.m.
Oh, goodness.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I stick around as long as I'm needed.
Right.
Well,
You're involved.
I was getting ready to go home.
That's a good sheriff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting ready to go home, and my 2 guys were up in Hudsonville dealing with a domestic, and somebody called about somebody in Oblong, just north of town, causing problems. I mean, this guy was, he was intoxicated, and he was walking out in traffic, hitting trucks.
Oh,
They were driving,
jeez.
smacking trucks with his hands as they were driving by.
Oh, wow.
So my guys are busy. They're dealing with this domestic. I'll head over there and see what we got. So I get over there, and this guy tries walking out into traffic again while I'm there. Well, I grab him. I mean, here comes a 3/4 ton Chevy
Right.
heading north. You know, granted, he's seen I was there and I was dealing with somebody, so they slowed down, but he was
Right.
still probably doing 20 miles an hour.
Still would
This
hurt.
guy's trying to walk in front of him.
Wow.
So I grab his arm, pull him back over to the side, and I'm like, dude, you can't do this.
Right.
You know?
Technically, I could take you to jail right now.
Yeah, that's obstructing traffic.
Right. So I'm sitting there talking to him, and then he starts screaming. He balls up his fist and starts to swing at me.
Oh, my gosh.
So I take him down. No big deal. And I'll get to the reason here in a second. So the guy that called in and said that he punched his truck to start with, he was standing in a driveway, probably, 75, 80 feet away from me. And he seen me take him down. He comes running over and helps me.
Right.
Right? And I talked to him, from the time I got there until I dealt with the guy, you know, and had to get a hold of him, I had already talked to him. He's like, man, I got my concealed carry on me. I said, you're good.
Right.
I said, I'm glad you do.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And
Makes me feel safer.
yeah. So, well, he comes over and helps me, you know, and he helps me pull the guy's arm out, you know, because he's
Right.
got it buried
Yeah,
underneath.
wrestling with a drunk is hard sometimes.
Yeah. I'm trying not to hurt the guy, you
Right.
know. So, but I get him handcuffed and get him set up, and I says, hey, thanks.
Yeah.
And he comes to me and said, I'm not going to get in trouble that much. I said, for what?
People actually worry about that.
I'm like, for what? And he said, we're coming over and helping you. I says, hell no, I'm glad you did.
Well, yeah, it's nice to have help, especially when you're there by yourself and you don't have backup.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, totally understand that. But yeah, a lot of places, a lot of departments, especially in like these bigger cities, when they're less connected to the community, you try and help one of them, they'll cuff you for trying to help them.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. You're obstructing. You're obstructing. That's
Right.
their go-to.
Yeah.
You had them tell us we're obstructing because we're recording. I'm like, do you realize obstructing is a physical act or an illegal act?
Yes.
Standing here recording.
Yeah.
Some cops just don't get it, man.
Yeah.
Because they just pull them out of the academy so fast nowadays.
Yeah, they
don't
had those,
teach 'em.
Well,
where was it? Delta Township cops.
Oh, yeah.
I'm walking by the sergeant talking to the idiot that tried to tell me I couldn't record at the voting poll. I'm walking by and he's like, you can't be here. You're obstructing. I'm like, I just stayed there anyways.
What am I obstructing?
Right, exactly.
Your view?
I was like
That's what
this
it-
far away from him walking past.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what.
Oh,
I mean, we know the law better than some of these cops out there.
Oh yeah.
You know, because we studied it. We study it. We study case law.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we have to.
Oh, yeah.
We have to know. We have to.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to get hemmed up walking around with a camera
Oh, yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
It is entirely too easy. We've been, arrested 4 or 5 times at least?
And we
Last
usually
4 or
have to
5 years.
educate our lawyers too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We know more than most of our attorneys.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's like, this is ridiculous. I might as well just
Right.
represent my damn self at this point.
Yeah.
You know? You hear the lawyers get into the courtroom and talk to the judge and just stumble over their own words.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not more prepared than this? Why? Why?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're supposed to, I mean, come on. Nobody takes pride in their profession anymore.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
You know? Very
I know.
few anyway,
Yeah.
I think. But
I'm assuming you've seen the video of my deputy.
No.
no. Is it on YouTube or something?
Oh yeah, well, it was on Facebook, and then it did this world news or some shit. I can't
Oh, okay.
remember. It made it to something.
Huh.
But he was at somebody's house that he shouldn't have been while he was working.
Uh-oh.
Getting a little side action.
It appears that that's what it was. He no longer works
That's
for me,
not
but,
good.
You have to avoid even the appearance of anyone.
Oh yeah. So, well, he never put his body camera on. He had his clip on his shirt, but he had taken it off at some point. So he was, well, this guy's videotaping him in his ex-wife's house. You know, he's putting his body camera clip and his belt keepers back on.
Why is it off?
I just found out 2 weeks ago. Like I said, this was back in October. I found out 2 weeks ago. They are using that video. They downloaded it off of the internet, and they are using it at the academies. Say, don't do this.
In Michigan, they're using my arrest by a Corona police chief as training for the sheriffs in Michigan.
Oh wow.
The rest of you in the park, recording from 500 foot away, a guy climbed a power line tower.
Oh,
and
wow.
was threatening to jump.
Oh.
And told dispatch, I don't want to see any cops. Guess
Yeah.
where the cops were?
Yeah.
10 feet from the power pole in their fucking cars.
Well, yeah.
So I'm standing 477 feet, I measured it right after I got out of jail, away from there, recording it.
Yeah.
Because most cops are not trained in how to deal with somebody who's having a mental episode.
No.
They're fucking clueless.
Yeah.
Now, some departments have started training their officers, which is awesome.
Right.
But a
We've
lot
been
of them
sending-
haven't yet.
We've been sending most of our guys through the CIT training just
Oh,
so
okay. Yes.
they know.
Because he's got some kind of
So
training
they've
on how
got
to
a
deal
little
with
bit
this.
of training on
Yeah.
how to deal with this stuff.
So originally, I was standing about 300 feet away.
Yeah.
And the state troopers came up, and they were super polite. And they're like, you know, could you maybe move a little bit further back? We don't even like being this close. we just don't want to get this guy irritated. And I was standing out in the open at the time, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go over here to this big power pole here and stand behind it and kind of record from there. They're like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm 477 feet away behind this pole, recording like this, and this fucking chief of police comes up. You got to get out of here. This is city property. You got to go. I'm like, it's a public park, and no, I don't have to go. I'm exercising my First Amendment freedom of the press.
Yeah.
Well, he arrested me. He threw my camera down. He thought he shut it off, but I was live streaming with a third-party app that even though he shut the screen off, it was still recording
Audio.
And everybody got to hear him say, I don't give a fuck about your rights. I'm not politically correct. Take that and shove it up your ass.
He was fired 2 days later.
Yeah.
And he what, you win 90 grand off that one?
And 95,000, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Fired 2 days later. Yeah, he was
The
gonna
sheriff
push
in the county, I was in his jail, and because I was live streaming, his jail was getting bombarded with phone calls.
Oh, yeah.
And he called the prosecutor up on a Saturday and says, get this guy out of my fucking jail. He does not belong here.
Yeah.
Because he had already seen the video.
Yeah.
Super. He ran for what?
He's a state rep right now.
State rep
Yep.
right now. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The sheriff that was sheriff at the time.
Uh-huh.
But after everything, he came up and shook my hand and said, thank you for getting rid of that tyrant piece of shit cop.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
He's like, everybody in this county hates that asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've had a few run-ins.
Yeah.
I got a sergeant detective who was also the public relations officer fired. I had him so mad. I had him so mad that he was like, "This is my freedom of speech. Fuck you." And I'm like, "But you're on duty. You don't have those freedoms. You have duties right now."
Yeah.
And I said, "You're getting some time off for that one, buddy. You're
Yeah.
getting some time off for that one." He was so mad. He goes back to his car. He goes to get in his car. And this was after he done pushed him.
Right.
Told me he was going to get my ID, even though told us he pulled us over, even though we were parked and out of the vehicle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
parked with the trunk lid up.
He's like, "You see my lights? You see my lights?" I'm like, "I don't care about your fucking lights, dude. You didn't pull us over."
I was digging around in my trunk when he pulled up behind
So I
us.
walk up to his car and I told him, I said, "I'm coming for your job, cocksucker. I'm coming for your job."
Yeah.
And he gets out, and I got to give him props, dude.
Come for my job.
No, the best comeback I ever heard. He's like, "You couldn't come for your sister." But then he walks up to it, and I'm holding my iPhone in my hand. He smacks my iPhone out of my hand. It goes flying about 20, 30 feet. And then he gets nose to nose with me.
Oh.
And I didn't back down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Fuck you, dude. Who the fuck you think you are?
Wow.
Because you got that fucking badge that makes you bad?
Yeah.
Take that fucking thing off, dude. You ain't shit without it."
Ah.
You know? And,
He was a Willy Wonka Munchkin
yeah, I called him
motherfucker.
a Willy Wonka Munchkin motherfucker. He was super. He had a short man complex. Yeah. So then we went. They left. You know.
Yeah.
And then we went to the police station to file. I want to file a complaint on him for the way he acted. Well, him and the same two officers that were just dealing with this came out and was like, "You can't file a complaint. You have to come back tomorrow." I'm like, "That's not how this works, man. You have a conflict of interest. Give me the complaint form so I can fill the complaints out and turn them in. You need to go away." He's like, "You need to leave now or you're going to be arrested for trespassing." I'm in the city hall. Are you freaking kidding me? He
Yeah,
arrested
it's
me.
City Hall on this side, police on this
Yeah,
side.
he arrested me.
24-hour lobby.
He
Yeah.
arrested me. I was in there about an hour. He went outside. They ran him out of the building. He goes outside and starts live streaming.
Then their
And
phones start
I'm
blowing
sitting in the
up.
back, and they're doing their thing, and they come in there to me. They're like, "Do you hear your phones ringing?" I'm like, "No, not really." He's like, "Well, our phones won't stop ringing. It's because your guys have their live stream, and people are calling in here, and there's real emergencies." I'm like, "Well, then they need to call 911 and not you." You know what I'm saying? It's hilarious. I mean, he was.
One of the cops come outside and begged me to stop the live stream. I'm like, I'm not telling them shit. You tell them whatever you want. You're on the live stream.
Wow.
I'm not stopping
He was
nothing.
begging him. He was begging him, "Stop calling, stop calling." That just made him call more. That just made him call more. And then, you know, it was like,
I'm like, you guys made this fucking happen. Your mistakes. You fucking deal with
They let him
it.
retire, early
Yeah.
retirement. They would. The prosecutor refused to charge him with assaulting me. Said they couldn't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm like,
Even
"It's
though it was
on
on 3
cameras that he
cameras."
assaulted me. How can you not prove it? But whatever. And but then the body camera footage that what was that? Epic or the EWC body
Yeah.
cam on YouTube. He got the body cam footage from it.
They refused to give it to me.
And and he recorded himself on his own body camera calling the chief, telling the chief, you need to tell the mayor to get more veto, that more veto needs to be fired or let go or something because he's going to kill somebody. He's talking about himself in the third person, saying that he's crazy and he's going to kill somebody. I'm like, why are you a cop? He's not anymore.
Right.
Thanks to me.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's been sued several times. He has a history of violent behavior.
All kinds of dirt come out of the woodwork after we posted that video. We got people contacting us saying, "Hey, you did that shit to us."
I didn't sue him.
Same cops that kicked our fucking door in without a warrant. And it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Now that's what it's about, exposing bad cops.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, because it's more than just a few bad apples.
Oh, yeah.
It really
And
is.
highlighting good ones like yourself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Trying.
Highlighting great police.
Trying.
Yeah, that's what we need in this country. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We need great police departments, sheriff's departments that are constitutional, that know what people's rights are. that,
Well,
you
police
know,
departments are never constitutional because they'd have
Lansing is.
no.
Lansing is.
Police departments are not supposed to be
Well, no, they're not
in
supposed to
existence
be.
at all
Well,
under
no,
the
they're not,
Constitution.
but Lansing Police
Only
Department,
sheriffs.
The chief came out and said that we are a constitutional department. We will follow the Constitution.
Yeah.
And they don't do pretextual stops in Lansing. Like
Right.
if you got a blinker out, or if you got a tail light out, or if your tent's too dark, they don't pull you over for none of that.
They don't even
Yeah.
pull
They're
people over for
focused on the
speeding.
crime. No, they don't even pull you over for speeding. I think in the last 4 years, I've seen maybe 2 or 3 actual traffic stops by the Lansing PD.
Yeah.
Because they're focusing on the crime instead of pulling people over and trying to extort money out of people.
Right.
Which I get if you're doing something really bad, but
My guys don't even pull anybody over unless they're doing like 20 miles an hour over.
Right, right.
It's almost, by the time they pull them over, it's almost a reckless
right,
situation.
right, exactly,
Right.
exactly.
So, and it was brought up because, I'll go to a board meeting and I'll say, yeah, we issued 23 citations this month.
They're mad you're not generating
And they're
any
like,
income.
what? And I'm like, guys, it costs, if we stop and pull somebody over and write them a ticket for doing 12 miles an hour over because they're on their way to work and they're running a couple minutes late, that citation cost him $300 for a $100 day of work.
Mm-hmm.
That is absolutely asinine.
I
Yep.
agree, totally, I do.
But if it's to the point where it's almost reckless driving, they're weaving in and out of traffic, it's going to
Putting
cause
other
a
people at
problem.
risk.
Putting other people at risk, a different story.
Absolutely.
Totally different story. And that's where 90% of my citations come from.
Well, that's
Cool.
good. That's
So we
good
go
to hear.
19 over in the whole time.
Everybody asked me, and they said, "Oh, I seen you driving by, so I slowed down." Why? I don't even have a radar unit in my car. I don't even have one in my car.
Right.
Every time I put one in my car, one of the guys ends up
Well, that's good to hear
breaking.
that
So
you
I'm
guys
like,
are
okay, I'll
focused
pull it
on-
out, give it to them.
Right.
But yeah, we're more focused on solving crimes.
Right, community caretaking and solving
Yeah.
crimes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
Wish there were more departments like this one.
Yeah,
You could be a
So-
model for Illinois.
yeah.
Because not all departments are this good, I
Yeah.
promise you.
Oh, I know. I know.
You would probably like the Lake County Sheriff in Michigan.
Oh yeah.
He's
Oh,
a
yeah.
super
Awesome.
down-to-earth guy, loves the Second Amendment just like you do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think you'd get along super good with that
What's
dude.
Hastings? What county is
Yes,
that?
my jail administrator was up there and met that guy and told me I needed to meet that sheriff.
You do. You really do
Yeah.
need to go meet
That
him.
is great.
Yes.
He brought us into his office.
Yeah, he took
Yeah.
us through the
Showed us
secured doors
Yeah.
into the restricted areas.
Oh,
and everything.
wow.
He's
Yeah,
got
he's
an
great.
awesome prop gun collection from
Oh
the
yeah.
movies
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, he's-
on his walls and shit.
Yeah.
What Hastings County? What county is that?
I don't even.
Or Berry
have-
County, isn't
Ba-
it?
Barry?
Is it
Yeah,
Barry?
I think it's Barry.
Berry County. That sheriff he's an absolute constitutional
Yeah,
sheriff.
he's all about the
100%.
Constitution.
He's all about common law.
Yeah.
When it came to all the voter fraud going on, he was a staunch supporter of calling out the fraud.
Yeah.
He said he had evidence too, but I think they
Yeah.
tried to make it disappear.
Yeah. Most sheriffs in Michigan don't like him because in his county, I could move to his county, take my plate off my car, and put private on my plate, and they will not pull you over for not registering your vehicle.
Yeah.
Because we have a right to travel in this America, in
Yeah.
America, technically,
Right.
but under the FMCSAs and the vehicle bot code and all that,
Yes.
now they've forced us all to become drivers.
Yes.
Even though we're not operating in commerce,
No.
you know, we're just traveling freely, but you force us to buy these plates, force us to renew these tabs, force us into commerce with private companies to get insurance, which is all unconstitutional, technically. But, you know, they say, oh, you're a sovereign citizen if you go. No, we're not. Most of these cops around here think they're the actual sovereign citizens.
Yeah.
Because they don't think they have to follow the law. They park how they want, they speed, they're on their phones when they're driving, they don't
all
follow
the
the
time.
law, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And there's no consequences a lot of times for their actions. And it's all over the internet nowadays, you can see it. And now there's actually, you can see more and more officers being charged and indicted for the crimes they're committing. I mean, and it ranges from domestic violence to drugs to kiddie porn to, a multitude of things.
Homicide?
They get it in their head that I'm a cop and I'm above the law. Well, that makes you the true sovereign citizen.
Yeah.
But they,
I'd show you my office, but I don't have one.
You don't have an office?
Man.
No.
So I guess that's your office right here.
Yeah, I talk to most people either in the lobby or in our interview room.
Right.
But our dispatch used to be in this room right here, and we had 2 full consoles, filing cabinets, and that room is only 8 by 12.
Oh goodness, it's cramped.
It's cramped.
So is that still here now? Or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So what I did after our tornado back in 23, I said, I'm done. I'm tired of waiting for the county to come up with something to give me a good dispatch center to serve my people. So I gave up my office and my conference room I had, took the wall out from in between them, and turned that all into dispatch.
Amazing.
Wow, that's awesome.
So
Problem solver.
and I went from 2 consoles to 3.
Nice.
And
That's a good afternoon.
thanks, you as well. 3 consoles, and they've got a refrigerator, a microwave.
Nice.
Their filing cabinets in there. They've got room to
job's
move
important.
around. Their job is really important.
It is,
Very
yeah.
important.
And during
Very
the
important to
tornado,
relay correct
yes,
information as well. Because that's what we had down there in Wabash.
Yeah.
If they kept, like the bank lady called and said, oh, well, they're being nasty.
yeah,
Well, by the time it went from they're being nasty, and when it got to the sergeant, dispatch said they're being vulgar.
yeah,
She never said we were being vulgar. She said we were being nasty. So why are you changing everything?
Yeah.
You're making it sound worse than what it is, or what it's
Right.
like. You need to relay exactly what that report was.
Yeah.
Not put your own 2 cents into it.
right,
That's very important.
yeah. So like I said, I got that set up, and we also have a portable call taking station.
Oh, nice.
So if we end up, when the tornado hit, we had
Right.
2 dispatchers working. We had 3 other dispatchers show up and no place to go.
Oh, wow.
They were just standing around because they're going to need help. They didn't have a phone
Oh,
that
wow.
they could,
So now you're set up.
Now I'm set up. They can have 4 dispatchers in there, answering calls, dispatching everybody, keeping track of everyone,
Absolutely.
and not worry about running out of space.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You seem like a really great sheriff, man. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I'm trying.
I'm burning up, so I'm going to have to get out of this cold, man.
I'm trying.
You are by far one of the best
It was
sheriffs
definitely a
I've
pleasure.
ever.
Hey, it's great to meet you
Especially in
guys.
Illinois.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I'm going to head out of the office here in a minute, so I got to go get my body cam.
Be safe out there, man.
All right, we'll see ya.
Hey,
Yes,
Thank you
as
so
well.
very
Got to
much.
hit the green button, unlock the door.
Got it.
All right, we'll see you guys
Have a
later.
great
All right, have a good one.
What a sheriff. He's awesome.
Awesome.
Man,
I don't even think we need to go to that admin building.
what a great sheriff he is. Man.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Makes me want to move here.
Right?
Shit.
He enjoyed mine. So we can go 19 over there.
That was funny.
He cackled a little bit at that one.
I love cops like that, man. That's what it's about.
Oops, we stayed parked more than 15 minutes.
Oh, well.
Hope we didn't get a ticket.
Right. Oh, it's on your windshield.
Shut up.
All right, everybody, we're out of
Look at this. So many people have hit that and framed on it.
Oh, yeah, they have. Drug your frame right across that.
Yeah.
Man, I'm impressed with that guy.
All right, so that's going to be it here in Robbinsville. Or Robinson, excuse me. Yeah. We're not going to bother going anywhere else
Stood there for almost
in this town.
an hour.
We'll catch you later.